We continue now at the top of Daf Vav Amud Aleph Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 56a. The Gemara is discussing whether or not vegetables are healthy, and the Gemara is in the middle of a brisa which is trying to prove that they are not healthy. This is a list of items that are not healthy. Pas kibor, you have coarse bread, v'shecher chadash, fresh beer, v'yerek, and vegetables. So from this brisa, it seems like it's not healthy. So we have a contradiction. So the Gemara says, lo kash, it's not difficult. Ha betume v'karti, in one case we're talking about garlic and leeks. Ha b'shariyarki, in another case we're talking about other vegetables. Rashi's not sure which direction it goes. First Rashi says that he believes that the tumi and karti are not healthy, but then Rashi settles on the idea that the tumi and the karti, the garlic and the leeks, are the ones that actually are healthy. In any case, the Gemara continues, Kidatanya, as we learned in the Brisa, Shum Yerek. When it comes to garlic, that's a vegetable. That's considered something that's healthy. Creation, when it comes to leeks, Chatzi Yerek, that's half of a vegetable, meaning it's half as healthy. Nirat Snun, now if you see a radish, Nira Sam Chayim, that is something that brings life. Gemara says, really, Vatanya, but there's another Brisa which says, Nirat Snun, that a radish, Nira Sam Hamavis, it's like a poison, it's bad for you. So the Gemara says, Lokash, it's not difficult, Kan Ba'olin, Kan Be'imos. Rashi says, the Olin, Koshin Imos Yafin. The olin, the leaves, they're not so good for you. The imos are good for you. Imos, sharash, and the imos refers to the roots. The Gemara suggests another answer. Kan bi'imos hachama, kan bi'imos hagashamim. It depends if it's the summer season or the rainy season. Rashi says bi'imos hachama yafin. In the summer season, they're going to be good. Shemetzanin in it, esaguf, they cool off the body. Bi'imos hagashamim kashin. In the rainy season, it's going to be bad for you. Gemara continues to discuss health-related issues. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav. Kol ir sheyesh ba milos umordos. Any city that's got a lot of elevation, you have to always climb up and down. Adam uvehema shaba mesim bechatzi yamein. People, animals in that city, they're going to die in half their lives. So the Gemara says, mesim sakadaitach. You really think that it's going to cut off half their lives? Elaema mazkinim bechatzi yamein. What it means is they're going to become elderly. They're going to have signs of age already halfway through their lives. Amar Rav Huna b'reid Rav Yoshua. Rav Huna, the son of Rav Yoshua, says, Hani mulyosa devei beiri u devei narsh. These are like elevations. These were stairs in these various places. Beiri and Beinarsh azkanun. They cause one to get old. Rashi over here says Beiri and Beinarsh beizayaros. These were two cities. V'yesh bein zulazum milos umordos. Between the two cities, you had these elevations. Vehein mulyosa. They were called mulyosa, and they caused people to. Rashi says azkanun his kinuni. They made me old. Rav Huna b'reid Rav Yoshua saying he used to travel those, and they made him elderly. Gemara now continues with a brisa. Taner Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa. Baal l'riva. So let's say you want to take a city and you want to make it a square. As we said, if you have, let's say, a city that's the shape of a circle, in order to create the borders to then measure the tchum, you need to draw a square around that circle. So how do you draw the square? So the answer is meraba b'ribua olam. You always do it according to the directions of the world, the square of the world. No saint svono l'tzvon olam, meaning you put the northern border along the north, udroma l'darum, and you put the southern one along the south. L'darim olam to the south of the world. The simonech, and the way that you can know which direction is north and south, agola b'tzafon v'akre b'darim. Agola, these are various astrologies, signs of stars in the sky. So the calf you can see in the north, the scorpion you can see in the south. Rabbi Yossi says, Imeino yodeya l'riva b'ribu shalolam. If you don't know how to do it, you don't know the directions properly, Miraba kamin hatzkufa, you can use the tkufa, meaning you can use the pattern of the sun to try to figure out what direction things are. Rashi over here says, first of all, Imeino yodeya l'riva b'ribu shalom. If you don't know how to do it according to the directions, she'eno makir b'mazolos halalu, you can't recognize these mazolos in the sky. You don't recognize the patterns of the stars. So Miraba kamin hatzkufa l'fihiluch sivav hachamo nikr ezu ruach jeromis ve'ezu ruach tzfonis. According to the way the sun goes around, that's how you could tell where the south is and where the north is. How is that so? And so he explains, Ketzad, how so? Chama yotza b'yom aruch v'shokas b'yom aruch. Let's say it's a long summer day, so the sun comes up and the sun sets. Zehu pnei tzafon. The area where it's coming up and the area where it's setting, that's going to be the north area. Rashi over here says, Chama yotza b'yom aruch oso ruach shata roesh. Chama yotza b'yom aruch shal yimei tkufas Tammuz. In the days of Tammuz, which is the summer months, yotza b'tzido ha'echad v'shokas ba'oso ruach atzo. It comes up and it goes down in the same side, meaning, of course, it's rising in the east and it's setting in the west, but it's a certain side. It's going to be the north side, northeast, and it's going to be northwest where it's going to settle. B'tzido ha'achar. So that's how you can know where north is on the long days. And then when it's the short days, the Gemara says, the Brisa says, Chama yotza b'yom kotzer, v'shokas b'yom kotzer, where the sun comes out on a short day in the winter months, and where it sets on the short day in the winter months, so pnei darum, that's going to be in the southern area. Tkufas Nisan or Tkufas Tishrei. What about in the spring months and the fall months, the time of Nisan and the time of Tishrei? Chama Yotza B'chatzi Mizrach, it comes out in the halfway point of the eastern side, the Shokas B'chatzi Ma'ariv, and right there at the midway point of the western side, that's where it settles, that's where it sets. Shenemar, like it says, Holech El Dorom, it walks along the south, V'sovev El Tzafon, and it comes around the north. What does that mean? Holech El Dorom B'yom, it means that during the daytime, the sun, you can see the sun going towards the south. V'sovev El Tzafon B'layla, and at night it comes out towards the north. Sovev Holech Haruach, and what does it mean when it says Sovev Holech Haruach? It means Elu Pnei Mizrach Pnei Ma'ariv. It's talking about the eastern and the western sides. Pa'amim Halchasan, sometimes you can see the sun in those areas. Upa'amim Esavavasan, sometimes you can't see. Sometimes that's when it's, so to speak, out of view. That's when the earth is turned. So the idea over here is that the term Holech or the term Mahalech, that's talking about when you can see the sun. So you can see the sun traverse along the south side, and then on the longer days, it'll actually come up on the north already. But really, generally, it's in the north, so to speak, when you cannot see it. On a long day, you're going to be able to see it come out in the north, and it's going to set in the north, but most of its path is going to be on the south. And then that's what it's saying also when it comes to the east and the west, in the eastern, again, in the east and west. So on a long day, you're going to see it a lot in the east, you'll see it a lot in the west. It's going to be Holech. But on a shorter day, it's going to be Sovev, a lot of the east and a lot of the west, because it's a short day, it's going to be hidden for most of that time. The Gemara then says, Amar of Mesharshir. Rav Mesharshir says, Les Nuhu Lahani Klali. Forget about all these rules. Titania, as we learned in a Brisa, Lo Yatza Chama Me'olam Mikaren Mizrachis Tzfonis. The sun never comes out from the northeast. V'shaka Bekaren Ma'aravis Tzfonis, and it never sets in the northwest. But Lo Yatza Chama Mikaren Mizrachis Dromas, and it never comes out of the southeast. V'shaka Bekaren Ma'aravis Dromas, and it never sets in the southwest. So basically, Rav Mesharshir rejects this position of Rabbi Yossi in the Brisa. The Gemara now continues discussing the patterns of the sun and the various constellations. Amar Shmuel, Shmuel says as follows: Ain't Tkufas Nisan nofelas ela ba'arba rive hayom. You're not going to find that the Tkufa, which is the season of Nisan, we might call the spring season, it's only going to happen at 4 points during the day. O betchilas hayom, it's either going to happen right at the beginning of the day, o betchilas halayla, or it's going to happen right at the beginning of the night, o bechatzi hayom, or it's going to happen at midday, o bechatzi halayla, or it's going to happen at midnight. The Ain't Kufas Tammuz, you're also not going to find that summer season, no fellas. It's not going to come out, ela o ba'achas umechza. It's either going to be an hour and a half into the day, o b'sheva umechza, or it's going to be 7.5 hours into the day, bein bayom uvein balayla. That could actually be the day or the night. In other words, the 1.5 hours into the day or 1.5 hours into the night, or 7.5 hours into the day and 7.5 hours into the night. V'ein kufas tishrei no fellas, and you're not going to find the season of Tishrei, what we might call fall, is not going to come out. Ela o b'shaloshos, it's either going to be 3 hours, o b'teisha shos, or 9 hours, bein bayom or bein balayla, again, whether the day or whether the night. V'ein kufas teves no fellas, and teves is not going to fall out, that's the winter season. Ela o ba'arba mechsa, either it's going to be 4.5, o ba'eser mechsa, or it's going to be 10.5, bein bayom or bein balayla, again, either the day or the night. So all of these various times are always going to fall out at one of 4 points during the days, and these are the hours that they're going to come out. Between every season is exactly 91 days and 7.5 hours. One tkufa is always going to shift from the other one by a half an hour. Rashi will explain all of this. V'yamar Shmuel, and Shmuel further says, Ein lach tkufas Nisan shenofelos b'tzedek. You're never going to have Nisan fall out in, if Nisan falls out in Tzedek, which is Jupiter, she'ena mishaberes aseilanos. That's always going to be a problem for the trees. It's going to cause the trees to break such a season. V'ein lach tkufas teves nofelos. You're also not going to have teves fall out b'tzedek in the constellation of Jupiter. She'ena miyaveshes es hazroim. It's for sure going to dry out the seeds. And that's only true when the new moon appears either during the constellation of Levana, which is the moon, or during the constellation of Tzedek, which is Jupiter. Now we're going to take a look at Rashi. Rashi will explain these various positions of Shmuel. So Rashi over here explains, referring to the Tkufas Nisan, that Nisan will always fall out either at the beginning of the day, the beginning of the night, or midday, midnight. So Rashi says, the Ma'oros, meaning the sun, the moon, the stars, everything at the time of creation, it was Tuesday night that these things were created right at the beginning of the night. Chodesh Nisan, it happened in Chodesh Nisan. Now, the solar calendar lasts for 365 days and 6 hours. Choshev osan kulam b'shvios. Now, if you divide by 7 to figure out how many weeks are in a year, it's going to come out to 52 weeks and a little bit of change. V'yishar b'yodcha yom revi. The change is going to be a day and a quarter. One day being 24 hours and a quarter of the day being 6 hours. So it's going to be a total of 30 hours. So what's going to happen is every single year the Tkufas Nisan is going to be pushed off by 1 day and a quarter. So Nimtzas Tkufas Nisan b'shana haba. So now in the second year, when is Tkufas Nisan going to be? It's going to be b'chatzi leil chamishi. It's going to be instead of going to be Tuesday night, it's going to be Wednesday night at midnight. This time it's going to be pushed off 6 hours, and it's going to be the next day. And Lashana Hashlishis in the next one, b'tchilas Yom Vav. It's going to be in the beginning of Friday, the daytime of Friday. Uvashana Haravias, and then in the fourth year, b'chatzi Yom Shabbos. It's going to be at the midday of Shabbos. Again, it's going to be pushed off to the next day, and then an additional 6 hours. V'chein la'olam Yom Uravia. So that's going to be forever. It's always going to be pushed off by 1 day and a quarter. Bein tkufa shana l'tkufa shana haba, from one tkufa to the next. U'liolam hen kalos be'alef min haravios halalu. It's always going to be one of these 4 because it's always going to work in a pattern of 4. So now we know that every single tkufa that's true of. Every tkufa is always going to shift by 1 day and a quarter from what it was the year before. That's how it works with every tkufa. And that all starts from creation, and you just continue from the time of creation till now. Keep pushing it in that direction. So again, Tam was the same thing. It's going to be either 1.5 hours into the day or night, or 7.5 hours into the day or night. Because let's say you have the first year of creation, when Nisan fell out or not in the first day of creation, this is the beginning of the day. Let's say you have a situation where Nisan fell out in the beginning of the day. So then Osa Shel Tammuz, what's Tammuz going to be? B'shiva u'mechza v'yom. It's going to be 7.5 into the day. Ukashet Nisan b'chatzi hayom. Then let's say Nisan falls out in midday at noon. Shel Tammuz be'echad u'mechza b'layla. Then Tammuz is going to be pushed off to 1.5 into the night. What's the reason? There's always 7.5 hour difference from one season to the next season. Let's say from Nisan, which is the spring, to Tammuz, which is the summer, it's always going to be pushed off by 7.5 hours. That is just because you're just dividing up the entire year into 4. So we take all 365 days of the year and change, we divide it up by 4, and it comes out, there's again a remainder, so to speak, of 7.5 hours. Sheba'oso yom shezuno felas, elanim sheches lahalon, misha shenaflazu, zayin shos umechza. It's always going to fall on the same day, it's just going to be 7.5 hours later. Shein lamid shos ledalet hatkufos, dahainu yom revia. That comes out to, again, 30 hours for the 4 tkufos, which is a day and a quarter. You're just dividing that up. Well, lefi zeh hacheshbon osa shel tishrei nofelas o begimel o betes, im nafla tkufas tammuz be'alef o mechza shel tishrei nofelas betes, v'im shel tammuz bezayin o mechza shel tishrei begimel. Same thing, just go to the next season. So again, let's say Tammuz falls out in 1.5, Tishrei is going to fall out at 9. If Tammuz falls out at 7.5, Tishrei is going to fall out in the 3rd hour. V'chein kulam. This is true of every single one. V'zeu simin. Rashi says here's a mnemonic to remember it. Azgi v'atad kishet kufas nisan ba'alef shel Tammuz bezayin. So that's the aleph zayin. Azgi umechza. Shel Tishrei begimel. That's going to be begimel. V'shel teves beyud umechza. V'shana shniya shel nisan bechatzi hayom dehainu bevav. That's v'atad. Let's say it falls out in vav. Bevav shows v'shel Tammuz be'alef umechza. Then Tammuz will be Aleph Umechza, V'shel Tishrei B'tes, V'shel Teves B'dalad Umechza B'yom. So this is the 4 seasons. If this is the way Nisan falls out in Aleph, then the next season is going to be meaning the summer season Zayin, the fall season Gimel, the winter season Yud, and the same thing over here. If let's say the spring season falls out in the Vav hour, so then the summer season's in Aleph, the fall season is going to be in Tes, and the winter season is going to be in Dalad. V'yein bein tkufa l'tkufa k'nefarishas chashav tzadi Aleph Yom. Kulon Shvius, you have 91 days between every season, so that's a perfect Tmimi saying. That's going to be 7 weeks. V'zayin shows umechza hinim sheches acharein. You're going to have 7.5 hours difference. Shemeat kufos kachem tzadi aleph yom v'zayin shows umechza. You look at each season again. Just divide the 365 and change. Divide it up into 4. It's going to come up to 91 days and 7.5 hours. Shein revia shel shin samechei revia. That's exactly 1/4 of 365 and a quarter. Finally, also Rashi says that again, the tkufa is going to be a half hour from the next one, meaning simin lechetziav azach gich va'ach tadach, which Rashi explains as follows: Shimush hashos klash tzamchan husiduran. the way that we understand the hours is, these are all mnemonics, he's going to explain. V'hiluchan, they go as follows. Tchilas leil aleph meshamish kochav. So let's say the first night, the night of Sunday, the first hour of the day, the first hour of Sunday night, which is really the first hour of Sunday, which is really Saturday night. So you have the star, the kochav, which is Mercury. That is the constellation which is ruling. V'achar of Levana, the next hour, just continue through every single day like this. The next hour is going to be Levana. That's the Kalash. That's the Lamed, that's going to be Levana. V'achar of Shabsi, then you have Shabsi, which is Saturn, that's the Shin. Tzedek, then comes Jupiter, that's the Tzadi. Madim, that's the Mars, that's the Mem. Chama, that refers to the sun. That's Ches, that refers to the regular sun. And then Noga refers to the to Venus. So Noga is the nun right over there. That refers to Venus. Hare Zayin Shos, that is 7 hours. There's 7 constellations. V'chozrim Chalila. And they're constantly just going round and round and round. You start from Saturday night, the beginning of the week. You start with Kochav, and you just move around the entire constellation. Nimtza Shar Rishona Liyom Aleph B'Shabbos. So now, if you look at the first hour, let's say, of Sunday morning, not Saturday night, not when the night starts, but from Sunday morning, what's that going to be? That's going to be Chama, that's going to be sun. Now, why is that Chama? So if you go, it's 12 hours total, right? It's 12 hours from the night to the morning. So if we do the 12 hours going through the constellation, this is hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now you start the beginning of the day. That's Ches. That's Chama. So that's how you do it. And that's the beginning of every Sunday is going to be Chama. And then you just continue down. V'achar of Noga. Rashi says afterwards comes Noga. V'or Klash Tzamchan. That actually follows the Klash Tzamchan, that same pattern. Timtza Simone shows Rishona Shal Yemos HaShavua. So it comes out that the first hour of every day is Chalam Katznash. Meaning on Sunday morning is going to be the sun. And then on Monday morning is Lamed, etc., etc. Yomim v'simane shows Rishona Shal Kolele HaShavua. If you want to know the night, so that's Katznash Chalam. Again, as we said, the first night is going to be Kochav. And then that's on Saturday night. Sunday night is going to be Tzadi. That's going to be Tzedek, Jupiter, etc., etc. So what he's explaining over here is basically how you work through the constellations through the whole week. Rav Shabsai de Tolo Harofes Zatzal Pershu Heitev B'Sefer Chachmuni Shalo. He says you can look at this Rav Shabsai Sefer. Explains everything. Lama Nistra Kocham Ben Yenzeh. Why is it set up like this? V'Kevon De'en Bein Kufa L'Tkufa Ella Zayin Shos Umechsa. So now, if every single season is separated from its friend by 7.5 hours, and remember there are only 7 constellations, Nimtza Shem Naflat Kufas Nisan B'Tchilas Kochav. So let's figure this out. If the season of Nisan falls in Kochav, to Kufas Tammuz Yipol B'Chatzi Kochav, then Tammuz is going to be halfway into Kochav, because you go through all 7 and go in another half. And Tishrei Barosh Levana, Teves B'Chatzi Levana, V'chen Kulam, Kishatotzi Zayin Shosa Mechsa, Achar Nefilasa Shalzu, Tagia La'osa Shal Atzma, Elishin Emsheches Chatzi Shal Achar. Right? So if Teves falls out, if Tishrei falls out at the beginning of Levana, Teves will be in the half of the Levana. And that goes through the entire thing. And then again, the last Rashi here, V'hani Milad Disulid Molad Levana. If the new moon comes out, Shal Nisan of Nisan, O Shal Teves or Teves, B'Shas Levana or B'Shas Tzedek. The new moon has to come out at the hour of the constellation of Levana, of the moon, or Jupiter, and that's when these things happen. And we will continue further in the next video on Daf Nun Vav Amud Beis.